I still can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
That camera. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Nick. And guess who's back, y'all? So we are joined tonight again by our co-host, Mr. Patrick Powell.
What it
What's
do? What it do?
what it do? What it do? And Miss Taylor is back here controlling us and helping us with everything today.
She on the ones and twos.
She on the ones and twos. Hey, and so what's up, Tim? All right, y'all. So y'all asked for us to continue unpacking personal trauma. And so Patrick agreed to do this entire month with us. So last week we talked about cognitive boundaries. Um, Miss Taylor, any takeaways from last week you want to share?
Um, I slept on
You slept on it?
it. So I'm trying exactly cognitive boundaries, kind of setting up, you know, making a space for yourself in your relationships,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that you're not overwhelmed by just trying to be an advocate for yourself. And
Ooh, I
She
like
just
that.
hit it.
it's
Mhm.
just,
Yeah.
I really did have a week and a long sleep, so I'm trying to remember everything that went on, but generally, yeah, just making it for yourself.
I mean, and that's what a cognitive boundary is. You're trying to give yourself the room to uh, be okay with yeses and nos and who can access and not access, and
True.
in the framework of unpacking those experiences that have caused traumatic feelings. Um, so, um, thank you for introducing that to us, Patrick. And so this week, we're going to delve into depression.
Wow.
Um, that's a topic that's kind of near and dear to my heart because when you're in your 20s and your doctor tells you you need to be on Lexapro because you're depressed and anxious,
Wow.
um, and I'm looking at this white doctor tell me, this black woman, that, and my immediate thought to him was, what I said to him was, black people don't go on medication, we alleviate the source of the issue. Um, but that was me in my 20s.
That's typical. That's typical.
um, but now I'm a little bit okay with, you might have to be on something to balance you back out,
Yeah.
but I'm also a fan of more natural approaches. So I thought about what depression is and what that looks like for us in particular as people of color, and thought about the situations that I've been in and encountered,
Hmm.
um, and how I dealt with some of those situations. And so thought tonight would be a great uh, conversation because we all need tools on how to navigate depression.
Yeah.
So, any kind of how do you want to set the framework for tonight, sir?
Well, I can set the framework just taking the way you introduced it. How you were saying that Black people, the way we approach the understanding us of having to even consider the narrative that we're depressed. Some would say based on what we've experienced as a culture and as a people, yeah, surely we're depressed. And then you even have some people that would say, Black people, we don't do therapy, we got church. And I'm finna say something that is probably not going to be favorable, but I stand 10 toes down on it. If some of us would really be honest, church has caused more trauma in our life than we care to ever mention. Church, especially, y'all, I hate to say it, but us, um, uh, we have done a complete disservice because mental health has not been something that has been widely talked about. There are some things in your life that cannot be cast out. There
Mm,
are some things that need to be counseled out.
yep.
When they described Jesus, they said he is a wonderful,
Counselor.
thank you, counselor. If he did not have the component of counselor attached to him, then we would not even understand how some things that he did moved in the area of counseling. When he met the woman at the well, he counseled her. Hey, you finna ask me for some water? This is a conversation just about water. This is a conversation about water. Then she said, then give me this water I didn't ask for. He said, sure, I'll give it to you. But before we drink, where's your husband? Oh, well, I ain't got no husband. He said, you've answered truly because you've had five and the one that you got now ain't yours. Now we finna get to the root of the issues of what's going on in your life. And so again, a lot of us, when we really start to think about depression, we don't recognize when depression has really taken place. I would have never imagined in my 20s that I was depressed until saw myself always trying to be accepted. But what do you mean be accepted? You know how you go out to dinner with everybody and you try to pick up the check even though you know you can't afford it? Because you want to prove a point to people that you are something that you have yet to obtain. I had so much stock invested in the opinions of people, how people saw me, what people thought about me, how people felt about me. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to set the tone for it. The greatest deliverance in my life came when God delivered me from the opinions of people.
Yes, because it is the opinions of people that cause you to constantly compare, and then we never measure up to what we think that we should look like because we're judging ourselves by the standards of everybody else and not by the standard that is just us.
And we're measuring ourselves against people that haven't even perfected the area that they're judging against you.
Ooh,
Like you got broke people telling you how to spend your money. You got single women telling you how to treat your husband. Like I'm just really trying to understand. And what when you look at the measuring stick, who's the standard for who we're measuring to? Because
mm,
even the people that we think are successful are not.
wow.
I mean, literally, it took Snoop Dogg doing an interview to tell y'all, hey, I rap about the hood. I don't live there.
That's true. That's
He
true.
had nannies for his children and he had limousine drivers. Do you honestly think, what did Master P tell you? When I made some money, I got out of the hood.
Yep.
I mean, so I'm asking the question, what standard are we measuring ourselves by? And then when you really begin to start thinking, Adrian, about what depression really is, a lot of us are depressed because we don't have the discernment to really ascertain that we're surrounded by narcissistic people.
Mm.
And narcissistic people are experts in the area of manipulation that is always keeping people, what we call in the counseling world, jading. And if you understand, there are four components of jading: JADE, the acronyms JADE, which is justify, argue, defend, and explain. You're going to always listen. When you deal with narcissistic people, they are manipulators and always trying to make you justify your boundary, to argue the reason why you set up the boundary, to defend your right to set a boundary, or to explain. And they try to always make you try to defend it, argue it, so that they can literally find a way to get in between you setting a standard for how you want people to move and flow in and out of your life. Listen, people, you have to understand something. When you deal with depression, again, you've already set the component because you've been really hammering this home for the last few weeks. When you understand dealing with developmental trauma that came into your life as a child, maybe you were that child that was always being compared to another child, and this was the good child. When we all know that behind doors ain't no such thing as no good child. The Bible says mischief is bound in the heart of them. It ain't y'all have sinned, all have sinned. Your sin just wasn't known.
Ooh.
But we done all did. We done all. I teach my children all the time, stop trying to be the keeper of people's secrets, because if two people know it, it ain't a secret. And that's some stuff I'm taking to my grave. Because if
Yep.
I told even the most trusted confidant in my life, you gonna judge me. You might not see me the same. You might look, baby. I understand that I don't have the emotional bandwidth to share everything about me with everybody.
That's true. And so I just feel like as we're unpacking the trauma and we're dealing with the feelings that are coming up, because it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be a whole lot of things. But when depression rears its ugly head, it has an impact on us that is so extensive and profound that that's why I wanted to have the discussion tonight. Because I remember in my 20s sitting with the alcohol in one hand and the pills in the other,
Ooh.
ready to just end it because I didn't fit in. I wasn't being successful. I, I and I just thought, you know, it'd be easier if I wasn't here. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to jump back into this discussion about what exactly is depression, and you can lead the way as how we deal with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be right back, y'all.
Y'all in two and two.
You just really wanted to say that, didn't
I did. I've been waiting all night. I've been waiting all night.
you? I'll just let it play. We just having some difficulties, y'all. And we're back.
Can you like the sound on your your audio for your mic on the screen? Just
I did.
okay, it's not. We're getting go ahead.
We're good. We're good. Okay.
All right, so take it away, Pat.
Okay. Well, let's just do this. We're gonna just first let's just dive in feet first. Let's just first of all understand what depression is. Depression is by definition it is a mental disorder. The reason why it is a mental disorder is because it affects how you feel, how you think, how you act, and how you perceive the world. And so when we really begin to think about that something that is happening to us can affect how we feel, think, act, and perceive the world. Statistically, 3 out of every 10 adults, 3 out of every 10. So based on the adult statistic, that's 29%. That's 29% of the people have been diagnosed with depression at some point in their life. 3 out of every 10. This is the reason why we got to be very mindful how we treat people, how we engage with people, because you might be dealing with somebody that is dealing with chronic depression and you might be the recipient of their meltdown. We have to really be mindful that of more people than we think actually deal with depression. So there are some symptoms. And depression is kind of funny because depression is like stress. Like case in point, stress can cause you to sleep a lot, or stress can cause you not to be able to sleep at all. Stress can cause you constipation, or stress can cause you diarrhea. How does one thing can be the extreme on both sides of the coin for different people because we're all wired differently? So when you understand there are symptoms of depression, make you feel sad, you're irritable, you feel hopeless, you lose interest in activities. You know, one of the greatest signs of people who have depression is they don't even care how they personally look. I won't comb my hair. I'm not going to brush my teeth. I'm not going to get dressed for the day. Depression can cause people to lose their appetite. Depression can cause people to gain their appetite. There are a lot of people who are obese, and it ain't because they eat a lot. It's simply because they are going through depression. And you're looking at the depression on their body being manifested in their weight. And then you have some people that lose weight when they're going through depression, sleeping too little, sleeping too much, decreased energy, increased energy. It's a lot. So the first thing I want to just establish is that when you really think about depression, know that there is not one cookie cutter definition that works for all people. It could be a myriad of things that you could see a person actually spiral into dealing with depression, because it affects, again, the way you feel, think, act, and perceive the world. So let's start there. So when you are dealing with people, I'm going to give you a good way. And everybody who is watching this tonight, please, you can subscribe to this, do it on your own free time, do it when you have free time to do it. But let me give you a good tool so that you can avoid depression, so that you can avoid actually getting into a place where you are mentally depressed, because you were saying earlier that you had a season in your life where you had the alcohol in one hand and you had the pills in another, where I can testify that I swallowed 184 pills, and if it wasn't for a friend who had 911 to kick my door in, I would have died. So it wasn't just a thought for me, because I hear people even say, "Hey, y'all need to stop catering to people who talking about killing themselves, because if they gonna do it, they just gonna do it." Oh, okay. Well, it's not people. It's not just a cry for attention. It's really not. It's not a cry for attention. It is people that have literally have gotten into one of the three categories of motion that I'm getting ready to describe, and they don't know how to get out of it. So I want you to go ahead.
I didn't know how to get out of it either. Like, that's why I had the pills in one hand and the drink in the other.
And that's why I swallowed the 184, because that was my way out.
That was the way out. And
nobody's helping me with this. Nobody's listening to me. I'm trying to explain it. I'm trying to talk. And all I kept getting was, you got to trust Jesus. You ain't trusting Jesus enough. You ain't believing. You got to have faith. What does that look like?
Nobody was walking me through it. And then I didn't even have people really that I could actually talk to about it, because in my mind, nobody would understand what I was going through. Because
everybody's telling you what to do, but nobody can show you how to do it.
Show me how.
How do I walk out of this? How do I build myself? How? And that's the reason why my ministry caters to, I want the rejects. I want the throwaways. I want the people that life have discarded. I'm talking about, I have a church full of people where people are in their 30s, but finally admitting that I'm 30 years old and I still don't have a high school diploma.
Wow.
No, we're going to go back and we're going to get our high school diploma. And then we're going to take that and we're going to move to the next step. And I'm teaching them how to celebrate the baby steps, because people who are depressed, people want you to think, everybody applauds the results. Nobody encourages the work. Those of you who can see my face, this is a face of a man just a couple of years ago was 467 pounds. And I had literally made an agreement with death. I was diagnosed with lymphedema. I was diagnosed with chronic nerve damage. I had cellulitis. They was talking about amputating both of my legs. And I developed sepsis, went to the hospital, blood pressure 80/50. I was in ICU, unconscious 72 hours of the first 3 days that I was there, in ICU for 3 weeks. I can count on my hand the number of people that came to visit me, and I'm talking including family.
And what do you do with that? Like, how do you navigate that?
I'm finna tell you. And here it is. If you understand that depression, if you understand the depression that it affects, one, how I feel. Now here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to take a sheet of paper and I want you to draw a line straight down the middle. And in 3 sections, I want you to put forward. I want you to put still in the middle, STILL, and on the bottom, put backwards. The first assignment that you need to do so that you can put people in their prospective places is you need to understand how the people with whom you share your time, your space, your life, whatever it is that you share with them, you need to start assessing how they make you feel when you're in their presence. There's 2 things that we deal with in the corporate world. There's something called customer service. Customer service is just the person doing their job. Customer experience is how they make you feel by your presence when they're doing their job. And companies now are more big on customer experience than they are on customer service. I don't give a waitress a tip based on customer service. I give them a tip based on customer experience. When they come to the table, are they pleasant? Do they interact with me? Do they engage? How did they make me feel feel about eating in this restaurant today? So you need to first of all start assessing how you feel when you're in the presence of people. When you're in the presence of people, take those names and say, do they make me feel like I want to advance forward? That I'm standing still? Or when I'm around them, am I going backwards? Well, what does forward movement look like? They're always encouraging you. Reach your dreams. Go after it. They encourage you. They push you. They support you. They show up for the little things. Anybody can come to your big moment celebrations. I'm talking about people showing up. I'm getting ready to have a 200 party. Because since I've gone from 467, I am president. My last weigh-in was 270.6. When I get to 267 pounds, I'm going to have a 200 party. Celebrating naturally losing 200 pounds. And I want 200 friends. Come on, y'all. We got 5,000 Facebook friends. You ain't got 200 people that'll show up for you. If you got 5,000 Facebook friends, but you don't know 200 people that will rock with you in your moments, you need to shut your Facebook page down, or you need to purge your page. Purge it. Purge it. Because you ain't, if you got 10,000 contacts in your phone and you only talk to your circle of 5, y'all never see, some of y'all know about the circle of 5. I just talked to some old folk that understand about your top 5 in your phone. You know, y'all know some top 5. You got to know the phones back in the day. If you ain't got to protect your circle of 5. So you need to put, do they make me feel like I'm going forward? Are they pushing me, encouraging me? Do I feel good when I'm in their presence? How do I feel? Or does being around them make me frozen and still, and I don't know, I can't explain it, like are they dry hating on me, like they always, you know, that person that's always, every time you give them something that you want to do, they put the word little in front of it. Oh, I see you trying to start a little old business.
Because that's their way of stopping you.
And diminishing and demeaning your progress. Oh, I see you done bought your little old car. Okay.
Oh, I see you got your little old podcast.
Oh, your little podcast. Oh, she got a little old apartment in the, it's in the hood though. She got a little old apartment. Everything that you do, and you stand to figure out, are they a friend or a foe? Are they with me? And you just don't know how to read them. You can't ever really put your hand on it. Don't never seem to keep coming out right. It always seems like that they're in constant competition with you. That every time you walk into the room, they want to put a shade on top of your light.
Ooh. Yeah, you can't dim me over here.
Write that person down, and then you have the people that being around them makes you just want to retreat. Makes you just want to pull the covers over your head and don't go outside in the morning. Makes you want to not even, if you have those, you have to assess. Now, here's the second part of this project that requires some work. And I'm going to say much because, again, I'm a Bible-believing individual, so I'm only going to tell you where I live. The Bible says, know no man after the flesh, but know them that labor among you after the Spirit. That means you got to have discernment. We do not take the time to invest in knowing the people we are around. Because most of us want to repaint people when we see them. In my Maya Angelou voice, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Stop trying to repaint people because watch this, because we ourselves have been traumatized. We want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You need to know that everybody doesn't deserve you.
I think you need to say that one more time.
Everybody don't deserve. I ain't just talking about to be in your presence, to have access to you. They don't deserve you. Do you understand what it took for you to work through those issues and to work through those problems and to become and to finish that degree in your 30s and to challenge yourself to go get that job that people said you wasn't qualified to get, to start a business, to build your credit? Do they understand what you went through, how many years you rented just to buy a house? Yeah, it might be a house in the hood that wasn't but $150,000, but I got it. I bought it. I started somewhere. You got to start assessing. Look at the people who are in your life. And now the second part of this is you have to see, how do they treat themselves? Because how you treat yourself will determine how you allow others to handle you. So then you put that category on that. Do they themselves advance their life? Because the biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And when you are a person who think you have arrived, y'all, come on, I can name some people who have made the front cover of the most beautiful women in America, but still can't keep a man.
Wow.
How does the world call you beautiful, but a man can't be faithful to you, Miss Beautiful? Because looks can't keep a man. And y'all know what we say when we grew up in the hood, and if was a fifth, we'd all. Come on, y'all. So when you put people in those categories, do they cause you to want to advance forward? Do they cause you to be stagnated, or do they cause you to retreat and go backwards? And then watch them in their own life. Now, if you put that name down and that person is not in the forward motion category on both sides of your page, you need to know that that is a person with whom I cannot share my inner secrets, my inner thoughts, my plans, my visions, my goals. I'm not saying that you need to completely dismiss them out of your life. What I am saying is you need to protect what information you drop in their ear gate. Because I watched a video the other day of a mother sitting at a party that she had for her son, and she was crying because she had all of these plates on the table with treats and tokens and hats that she prepared for a party. And out of all the friends and family that she invited, her son is sitting there. It is his birthday, and not one person showed up. And she was crushed.
I've been there too.
While that was a hurting moment, it's also a learning moment.
Yep.
Here we go, come close. What did I learn from the pain that they caused me? Because some people with the pain that I was caused, you took me to class. And baby, I was a straight A student. I'm going to pass this one. I'll never repeat this course again, because you know, such in school, equal in life. If you don't pass a level, you got to repeat the grade. And I'm trying to understand, why are we 40 years old still repeating the same cycle of our 20s? Because you didn't learn from it then. You know why? You know what got you stuck in that still category? Depression. You won't move. But that's my family. I don't care if it's my mama. I don't care who it is. If there is not a person in my life who is celebrating my desire to advance and to move forward, that is a person with whom they will only find out what I did after I've succeeded. I will never share with them those moments and those details, because I don't want you to speak, spew, or to spill negativity on what I am trying to attain.
So what I'm getting from this is that as we categorize these people, and if we don't remove these people, they are the source of the depression.
Your depression. They are your causes, your factors, your triggers. They are the people that you keep trying to understand. I was happy before I got here to Adrian. Man, I was happy before I got over here. Like, what just happened? They sucked all of the life out of you.
So if you have all of these people that are sucking the life out of you, and they are still sucking the life out of you. As you're unpacking your trauma,
Hmm.
you have to figure out the correct and best way to limit your energy, limit your involvement, limit how these people have access to you.
Limit. We gonna limit?
No,
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 no.
no.
Listen to
Come,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I got you. Come on.
Not, I'm not saying everybody limit. I'm just saying, like you said, there are three people, like three
Three
classes.
categories. Hmm.
Yeah. So we're limiting our interaction because we're not allowing all of these people to continue having access to us, especially if they are the people that are not in the forward category.
Exactly. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
If you have credit cards, right?
yes.
What does a credit card what does a credit card holder do if you don't use the credit card after a certain amount of time?
They decrease your limit,
Do they? Okay. And if they decrease your limit and you still don't use the card, what do they do?
cut it off.
They deny you access.
Yep. So you have to get good at denying access.
Boom! And how do you deny access to people?
Or you just don't let them have access to you.
You
Like
cut
you
them
don't talk,
completely
you cut them
off.
off. You don't call, you don't talk, text, you don't Facebook, you don't spend time, you don't get letters, you don't.
You purge. You delete. Y'all, can I tell you what is the greatest enemy to our lives today? Memories on social media. You've had somebody that you don't even know that picture was still out there, and Facebook want to remind you, 10-year memory. They want to pop up something like, what in the world? I thought I deleted this off, and they want to remind you. Y'all, listen, I'm telling you something. You got to start denying people access and stop feeling bad about doing it.
Mm.
You gotta get to the point that you recognize that your mental health is literally it is equal to breathing.
So this is okay. Here's my example,
Got it? Come on.
real life example. So when I lost Nicole Joy, um, I was in my apartment, and I was once I got home, I was in bed for probably 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Um, and I was snuggled with the blanket that her godmother made her because um, the uh, the nurses wrapped her in the blanket for me to hold her.
Wow.
Um, and so I'm laying in the bed, and I'm just laying there with her blanket snuggled. And what was going through my mind was all of the drama that was surrounded by the whole experience. Um, so her dad and I are not together, and we're not together at that time. And but I had cut him off, and I cut him off because I felt like you're not here to go through this process with me.
Hmm.
So I did not say anything, see, text, call. Like I texted to let him know that she was born, and that she did not make it. But after that, that was it. And for probably a year or so, I was good. And then when I decided to grow up and put my big girl panties on and and discuss some things,
Hmm.
um, and I let him back into my life, what I found out was that I should have never let him back because I was trying to get closure. But
Closure's
my mental
overrated.
health, hmm,
I said closure is highly overrated.
closure is overrated. And and what I found out is I had more anxiety when I opened the door than when I closed it. So what I'm telling you guys is if you are that anxious when you have people around you and in your energy, in your presence, and you're full of anxiety and hatred and not knowing how you're feeling, cut those people back off and just move on.
Can I tag what this? I know time is finna run out on us, but can I tag something that you just said? And I
Mhm.
want to make it this simple. Stop expecting the people who broke you to put you back together.
That part. That part.
Stop expecting the people who broke you to fix you. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sense out of everything that they've ever told you, which is, I love you, and you're beautiful, and you're special, and you're this, and you're that, and you're wonderful. And I love you, and you're this, and you're that, and the other. Who this woman in your inbox? And I love you, and you're this, and that, and the other. You didn't come home last night, and I love you, but you're wonderful, and you're everything I've ever prayed for. But you got another woman pregnant, and I love you, but you keep going through all of the drama, and you have to understand that's that manipulation.
Hmm.
That's the jading effect. They want you to justify, argue, defend, or explain the reasons why you are setting the boundary in your life, and they want to talk your defenses down, and because that works for me. The access that I have to your life to do what I do to you, because toxic, why am I saying this? Toxic men love broken women.
Toxic people love broken people.
Well,
People.
I'm using it in that
Yeah.
sense because the reason why I said it that way, because when we understand there's a difference in toxic men than toxic women, then we have to have a whole special different show on the differences on how they move. But when I'm saying as far as because there are certain things that a man will do in his toxic state to manipulate his way into a moment, just like no man falls in love quicker than a man that needs somewhere to live.
Well, that's true.
He fall in love quick
Real
because
quick.
you don't know he ain't got a place to lay his head.
Yep. In there.
And the reality is, and these brothers out here call, why am I saying this? Calling themselves kings. Kings invite people into their kingdom. Where's your kingdom, king?
They ain't got one.
I can't come into a queen's domain and set up my kingdom.
We
Where's
got
your kingdom?
another show.
Yeah, we went there. I'm getting out for
All
that.
right.
Stop letting people that literally did the damage to you, stop expecting them to fix you. It may not be your fault, but your healing is your responsibility.
Mm. Well, I, he gonna drop the mic on that. And what we're gonna say is we will see y'all same time, same place next week as we continue this discussion. And next week we will be talking about gender roles. So I
See how
know
we get the segue? The
uh, so uh, same time, same place,
segue.
and
Same
we'll see y'all
place.
next week. Taylor, let's get out of here.
Mhm.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hang back, Pat.
I will.
Thank you, Tay Tay.
Okay, I learned something new today.
What'd you learn?
How Restream works with streaming.
Okay, so did it get better when I finally figured out how to mute this mic? these
Yeah,
speakers?
it got better. Yeah, everything sounded real well. Everything sounded well.
I think we gotta figure it out. But yeah, I think muting the computer, because you're gonna come out, all the audio is gonna come out of these speakers right here. So
Okay.
you don't need the computer speakers because you're gonna hear him, and if you're not muted, he's going to hear you. Especially if he's listening to the stream anyways, he's going to hear you. It might be a little.
Okay. Do I need to hit end stream? We still streaming?